is pretty much the dilemma that I've had to live with. Like I was simmering Rocky for 28 years, 29 years, and then I saw a vehicle in which to put this particular feeling, because Rocky is a feeling. You know, it wasn't an image in my mind. It was a philosophy, a sense of awareness and a belief.
In 1975, Sylvester Stallone, a frustrated American actor, wrote Rocky, a film about how an American failure wins fame and fortune standing up to the world boxing champion. That success became Stallone's own when the film went on to win 3 Oscars.
I didn't realize how entrenched Rocky is in the American consciousness. People think of me as Rocky and Rocky as me. They're inseparable. He's an American fantasy that, in the sense that he is a person who is basically forgotten by society and maybe in a sense almost forgotten by himself.
Rocky, you believe that America is the land of opportunity. Apollo Creed does. And he's going to prove it to the whole world by giving an unknown a shot at the title. And that unknown is you. He picked you, Rocky. Rocky, it's the chance of a lifetime. You can't pass it by.
When given the opportunity, rather than shirking the responsibility, he accepts it, and then he acquires a new sense of self and pride. And with that pride, that awareness and that spirit, he really finds his manhood.
Oh, I don't believe it! Yes, he is!
Rocky is like either, it's probably my shadow, my guardian angel for the rest of my life. It's definitely my symbiotic twin forever. So I just don't fight it anymore, and I consider it, you know, a hell of a stroke of luck.
Sylvester Stallone insisted on starring in Rocky, the film he had written. With the sequel, Rocky II, he was able to direct as well. Now, as writer, director, and star of Rocky III, he has reused many of the same team of actors that helped make the original Rocky.
It's kind of ironic that we all came together, unknowns, in a story about an unknown, and all became known.
Burt Young plays Rocky's old friend, Paulie, a character who has changed little over the 3 films.
I think he's still dumb and fat and unhappy. He's reasonably perfect.
Hey, shut up, this fellow bum, some questions!
So he represents the man who wants everything, but is not willing to go through the pangs and the tortures and the humiliations and the sacrifice to get it.
You been keeping me down.
Down? You know, you're like a crazy brother to me. You really are. So I want to tell you something. This is coming straight from the heart, Paul. And I mean this. You ain't down. And you ain't a loser. You're just a jealous, lazy fuck.
Totally upfront, honest. He is a jealous, lazy, wonderful brother-in-law.
Looking good.
The part of Mickey, the trainer-manager who helps Rocky fulfill his dream, is played by Burgess Meredith.
If Rocky were not to have Burgess Meredith as a pilot or as a guide, he probably wouldn't have gone to the title. So when Mickey got together with Rocky, they were both losers. Everything that Rocky was, Burgess was, but he wouldn't admit it. So when Rocky was out there fighting, it was Mickey out there fighting.
I don't like to hear much of what comes out of people's mouths. And I don't like soft talking. That's for sure. You know, but I just want to tell you one thing, that I'm proud of you.
Well, thanks a lot.
It's all right, kid. Let's get out of here.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
What do you think we're going to do when it's all over, huh?
I don't know. Maybe join up with a circus. Right.
Yeah, baby.
Adrian, played by Talia Shire, has grown from shy girlfriend to wife of a star.
Adrian is very subtle in her ways, but she is such a rock of, you know, the foundation, the Rock of Gibraltar. She is the catalyst that propels Rocky to new heights.
She also is unfolding as he is. She also has her own, what we call Rocky story occurring. She is his partner. She is his shadow side.
Oh, man. It was never too smart. He says to me, you weren't born much of a brain, you know, so you better start using your body, right? So I become a fighter. You know what I mean? Why you left?
My mother, she said the opposite thing.
What'd she say? What'd she say the opposite?
Said you weren't born much of a body, so you better develop your brain.
Did she say that?
He could see things that other people couldn't see. And that's the beauty of the relationship. They are so tuned into each other, their subtleties, that they rely on one another for honesty.
But you gotta want to do it for the right reason. Not for the guilt over Mickey. Not for the people. Not for you. Just you alone.
How'd you get so tough?
I live with a fighter.
It seems like all these people came together like a puzzle, and they made a picture. But without one of them, the puzzle is incomplete. So they just all seem to work in a kind of harmony.
In the latest film, the problem is no longer of achieving the American dream, but of coping with the success it brings, a progress that Stallone can easily identify with.
Rocky III, his life is taken out of his hands. Rocky has no longer become a fighter. He has become a civilized status symbol. He is completely dedicated to social work, charity functions, appearances, promotions of other people's ideas, products. He just doesn't have that much time for the ring anymore. He belongs to everyone. He's like a company that has gone public.
Can I get a kiss?
Yes.
Get out of here!
He's dressed in all gold. And the gold represents that he's gone away from his colors. He's gone away from everything. He is now a mercenary. Unwittingly, but a mercenary. After the success of Rocky I, in other words, winning the Oscar, I got a little carried away. I became, you might say, completely caught up in the fantasy and avoided the reality for quite a while. And it took me a lot of time, a lot of pain, a lot of, you might say, experimentation to get back to where I think I'm on a stable course once again. And that's pretty much what Rocky III is all about.
Right. Okay, that would be great. So we go from there, pick me up.
There's a new addition to the team of actors for Rocky III in Thunderlips, played by world champion wrestler Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan is here, Daddy, and because I'm here, I'm going to make Rocky III the movie of the year.
Hulk is something else. He's for real. He's a ferocious-looking individual.
Here, move. Sylvester Stallone filled my suitcase full of big $1,000 bills. He said, show him the body. Show him what you've got to offer.
He's the strongest individual I've ever seen. I never felt like a dart. I mean, a dart flipped me against the wall and stick. Tough individual. Tough. Crazy man. But I love him.
For the right price, for the right money, and at the right time, I'd even strangle my mother.
Let's call it off.
Oh, come on, it's a charity.
You're wearing your anatomy out for charity. Nobody else does this much for charity.
Bob Hope would.
That's true. Why are they carrying him? He's walking.
Rocky, you better call Bob Hope.
Thunderlips is the culmination of every bad practical joke that ever lived.
Thunderlips is here. In the flesh, baby.
Oh, my God.
The ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
What seems like a fun-filled, charitable event turns into the most extraordinary slam-bang fest that I've ever been involved with.
Whoa, you move pretty fast for a big guy, you know that? Listen, why don't we just move around a little bit, you know, like, give him a good show. First I'll chase you and you chase me, okay?
Not only does Stallone have to act in such carefully choreographed scenes, at the same time he is directing.
I have a belief that if you have a concept, if you write a property, and you have a vision, the only way that vision can get to the screen as much intact as you first conceived it is to do it yourself.
The part demands he starts on a